And thank you all who are joining now. Thank you all who will be joining later on. But as Rob just alluded to, um, this program is really about is featuring these Black writers. It's really about bringing these Black writers to our communities, and sometimes even more importantly, our communities to these writers. So super excited to be here. We've been doing this for a couple of years now, and this brother I've been trying to get on for a while, but he's busy. He got accolades, he got things to do, not to mention children. So there's that piece of it. But I'm so excited to have him on today. We are honored by the incomparable, the indefatigable Dr. Javon Johnson, three-time National Poetry Slam champion, professor, director of African American and African Diaspora Studies at UNLV, and author of Ain't Never Not Been Black. His work lives at the intersection of performance and scholarship, blackness, and love. Like, that is just like the one sentence summary. I'm gonna go into a couple pieces of his bio. So, as I said, associate professor, director, African American Studies and African Diaspora Studies, and holds an appointment in Gender and Sexuality Studies and Interdisciplinary Gender and Ethnic Studies Department at University of Nevada, Las Vegas. He received his doctorate degree in performance studies with a certificate in gender studies and cognate in African American studies from Northwestern University in 2010. There's probably two more paragraphs I'm going to pick up at Dr. Johnson's first book, Killing Poetry, Blackness, and the Making of Slam and Spoken Word Communities, Rutgers University Press, unpacks some of the complicated issues that compromise performance poetry spaces, and argues that the truly radical potential in slam and spoken word communities lies not just improving literary work, speaking back to power, or even in altering power structure, but instead in imagining and working towards altogether different social relationships. Now, look, y'all, I'm not going to continue his bio not because I want to diminish any of his work. It's just it's massive, and this gentleman is so much of the educator, but also so much of the fantastic human. So I just want to get in and have conversations with him. Brother, what's going on, man? It's good.
What's good, man? What's good?
It's
Good to see you, man. We've messaged over the last few, but we haven't been face to face. I miss your face, brother. Miss seeing you. To give some context, we were in LA at the same time for a few years, being poets in Los Angeles. But what I obviously, Tshaka's a fantastic writer. He wouldn't have been poet laureate otherwise. But beyond just writing, what I love so much about DPL and the communities we created down there is we play basketball every weekend, right? Like
when I had these.
right, when we had knees, when our backs were better,
Right.
when whatever ailments or aches we have now, they didn't exist in the same capacity. But we play basketball. We ate, we broke bread together, and this is the point that I hope to try to truly drive home about slam and spoken word is our capacities to build really profound communities, right? And all of that to say, I miss you, brother. I miss hooping with you as much as I miss my knees, man. And all is good. It's good to see you. It's good to see you.
Yeah, man. No, absolutely. And then we're gonna jump into some of that as well. But I'm so glad that you touched on that in the beginning, because I think, when we talk about community, like, and what community actually means, and like being part of each other's lives, like off the stage and on the stage, you know what I mean? It's, you get on the stage and it's like, nah, I don't know you. We
Right.
battling it out, and then the minute you get off, it's hugs, you know what I mean? So no, so it was an incredible experience for me, and is why every so often I'm like, I don't talk to this brother, but I'm gonna send him a text to tell him I love him. You know what I mean? Just so we can make sure that I'm always, I mean, I'm secretly low key stalking you,
Oh
but
no,
that's
same.
besides the point. I'm just
Same.
just letting you
Same.
know I'm here. You know what I mean? Just in case it comes up. The police want to know later on. I'm like, no, I wasn't. I wasn't actually in contact with him. But yeah, one of the ways I start off this show, sometimes I dig into this AI and uh, try and find, like, find the person and then see what it says about the person and then see if it agrees. So first of all, you got to work on this algorithm because there's like four Javon Johnsons that come up. There's a basketball coach, a running back, some other guy from LinkedIn. So get that algorithm going. But when it finally got to you, when it finally got it right, it said Dr. Johnson's work is intellectually rigorous and emotionally raw, a rare combination of academic precision and performance fire. My question to you, do you agree with this? Is this too clean a description of what you do? Like, this is what AI is saying. What are you saying?
Look, the way AI works is that it's gonna scour the internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did they say? It has the capacity to read the entire internet, some of them in a matter of a day. So it's gonna scour the internet, right? And that means not only Wikipedia pages, but it also means things that I've written, right?
Mm-hmm.
It also means what people have written about me. And I think, I would say it's pretty accurate. I was trained by scholars who are very, very serious intellectuals who understood creativity as a critical, not sort of after sort of piece to scholarship, but as a core function of scholarship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I am traditionally trained as an academic, right? Like I can write a pure academic essay. It's not an issue, but the poet in me always wants to scream and come out. And that
Mm-hmm.
person that is not as calculated, the person that is not, because I could be a very calculated human being, but the poet in me is not very calculated. The poet in me is very just raw.
Yeah.
This is what I feel, and you
Right.
kind of need to know it.
Right.
And so, the scholarship, I tell other academics, I was an artist long before I was ever an academic.
Mm-hmm.
And in many ways, I don't see myself as an academic who studied art communities. I see myself as an artist who happened to be in academic communities.
Okay.
And so because there's stability in a monthly paycheck.
I'm saying.
Just the materiality of academia works for me, right?
Right.
And I'm also just a naturally curious person, so I like reading things. I like figuring things out. It's super funny. My daughter literally last night was like, "Daddy, why do you just know things?" And I know this is a question that all young kids will
Right.
eventually ask their parents. But I was just like, I like to read a lot. Like
Yeah.
I just want to know. I
Yeah.
want to know why the bee did that. I don't want to know just that it did the thing.
Exactly.
Why?
Yeah, yeah. And then
Why?
when they get to the age that mine is, then they're like, "Daddy, why you think you know everything?"
It with a different inflection. Yeah,
A little
yeah.
switch, a little switch there. No, that's fantastic, man, and it really parlays then into or fits well into sort of my next question for you, which is it's interesting because when I first encountered you before I actually met you, I knew you not of poetry. I heard of you in debate.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And so it was like, oh, he knows debate. So when he then if you do see him on the stage, like it's gonna be different, And so talk to me a little bit about that. Like what was your I love Marvel, I love the comic book. So like what's your origin story? Like what pulled you into poetry?
Yeah, so it's actually interesting, man. Like I was doing speech and debate in high school,
Mm-hmm.
right? Had a wonderful teacher who I still speak with to this day. That's the impact that Mrs. Florence Avignon made on me, right? And to the point that when she went up years ago, over a decade ago, she had went up for California Teacher of the Year. I dropped everything and wrote that woman a 5-page letter. I would not be Dr. Johnson without Florence Avignon. And I'm clear on that, right? She's not the only person that pushed me to the, but she was a main catalyst. And she saw that I had like a natural curiosity. And so what happened was I was taking her history class. And in the history class, and I was in the last predominantly black school in Los Angeles, which was Crenshaw High School.
Oh, wow.
And we were doing the case Plessy v. Ferguson, right? And in that case, I was charged with the unenviable task of representing the racist white man who denied who denied Plessy the ability to be on the train that would eventually open up the sort of separate but equal clause and all of those kind of cases that come. But I essentially said I had the unenviable task of representing a racist white man by the name of Ferguson in the last predominantly black school in Los Angeles
Right,
in a mock trial.
right.
And, I lost. I lost miserably. I lost unanimously,
Right.
right? There was no way those black kids are going to vote for Ferguson. It didn't even matter
Right,
if the
right. What did you
argument was
say?
brilliant or not, right?
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
can't remember to this day what I argued, but my teacher, Mrs. Florence Avignon, she came up to me and she was like, "You probably made some of the most cogent, coherent arguments around this that I've ever heard. I
Mm,
particularly assign this case to people that I'm interested in hearing argue."
right,
And she was like, "Have you ever thought about doing speech and debate?"
right.
I was like, nah,
I'm good.
nah. And she was like, you should really look into doing speech and debate. I think you'll be good at this event. And she was my teacher at the time. I'm like, yeah, yeah, sure, lady. Hook me up next year. Cause I didn't want to make her mad, right? Like she still had my grade in her hand. I'm not a fool, right? My mother couldn't afford to raise fools. And
Right.
so I I I go in, I never sign up for the class next year. She shows up to one of my classes and go, hey, didn't see you on my roster, Javon. And
Wow.
I was like, lady, I'm gonna be there. Don't even worry about it. She comes the next day, pulls me out of my math class.
Mm,
I need him. I
mm.
didn't see you on my roster. And I'm like, this lady bugging. And the reason I didn't want to do it, I'm a young black kid trying to figure out his manhood. I'm cool.
Right,
I'm that
right,
dude at school. I'm not about to do speech or debate, lady. Do you know
right.
how they're gonna look at me?
How
They're
many
gonna call me a
points I'm
nerd.
gonna lose? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I got an aura about me that I got in my head, right? Like, I'm a man. What are you
Right,
saying?
right.
Whatever that means, right? And so she was like, she told me after like a week straight of coming to my class, like, I'm not going to stop.
Mm,
You might as well give in now.
yeah, yeah.
I was like, okay. So I went to practice.
Mhm.
And she was like, I told you you'd be good at this. Can you at least do one tournament? And if you hate it, I will leave you alone.
Yeah,
Cool. Went to one tournament, took first place and second place in another event, and never looked back. I was like, oh, I low key love this.
yeah, yeah.
And so, all of that to say, she introduced me to poets. And the first poet she would
Mm,
introduce me to was Amiri Baraka, who I would later interview
okay.
at USC when I was postdocing there. We exchanged, I used to text Amiri Baraka, which still blows my mind to this day. I used to be like, yo, Amiri hasn't lived.
Yeah,
Literally,
yeah,
Amiri. Like we
yeah,
go
yeah.
back. I
It's like you
remember
play
one
ball
time I
together.
texted him, AB. I got real familiar.
Right,
I told
right.
him I would too. I was like, I'm gonna get familiar, brother.
Yeah,
If you give me your number, I'm
yeah,
going. He was like, no, no, by all means. I said, all right.
yeah.
Um, all of that to say, I had been reading poets now. I'm reading now Amiri Baraka. I'm reading Langston Hughes. She shares with me Nikki Giovanni, all of the greats, right? All of the black hits, right? She shares them with me. And I'm like, I'm feeling this.
Yeah.
Right? I was a kid who grew up listening to hip hop who liked the rhyme scheme, but I was never in love with gangs.
Right.
I was never in love with drug dealing. So that didn't really speak to me. The
Mhm.
closest rap artist growing up that ever spoke to me was Tupac, right? And so here I'm listening to poets that spoke to things that I wanted to talk about.
Mm, mm.
And I hadn't written, but it gotten around the school for some odd reason that I write poetry. Why? I don't know. And all of that to say this, I'm giving you context, but this young lady comes up to me who I thought was gorgeous in high school. I just thought she was it.
Right, right.
She looked like a bag of sunshine. I said, oh my goodness, right? And so she comes up to me, she was like, Javon, I heard you write poems. And I'm getting ready to protect my masculinity. Like, what? Get out of here. I'm a grown man, even though I'm a boy at this time, I'm a grown man. We writing those poems. Like, what are you talking about? I'm ready to protect my
right,
whatever
right,
facade I got going
right.
on. And before I could tell her no, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, she was like, I just think it's so sexy when young men write poems. What's up, girl? I got poems for you. How you?
I'm four, right
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. What kind of poem you need? Just talk to your boy. I'm available. So this is all true. So that night, I went home and I was like, either I'm coming back to school a poet or I'm coming back a liar.
Mm,
I got to make a decision. So I wrote my first poem that night.
mm,
And the only line I could remember from that poem was, Your eyes are like the moon. Ugh. But you get my point. Ugh. But yeah. And she was like, Oh my goodness, this is amazing. And
mm.
she took the poem out my hand. She was running around reading. Look what Javon wrote for me. Relax,
You know, this, I
relax.
do
I
this.
do this. This is me you're talking to. So, so what ended up happening is all the girls in high school was like, man, I want my guy to write poems like Javon write poems.
Mm,
So then dudes was like, yo, can you write me a poem for my girl?
yeah,
I started charging.
of course,
I was
of
hitting for 10
course.
to 20 bucks depending on what you're looking for.
Right,
I
right.
was lacing my pockets like, oh, you trying to go to homecoming? You need a homecoming poem? I got you. See? So all that to say this, what happened is I realized that people wanted to hear me,
Mm,
regardless of why.
right.
In a world that disenfranchises Black people, that tells us that tells us it does not want to hear our voice, does not want to hear our concerns, our issues, our thoughts. I was like, there's people who not only want to hear me, they want to pay to hear it.
Right.
My voice has value, right?
Right.
Like I can literally assign a value to it, right? Under a capitalist structure. And so I began to write about more than just love. I
Mm,
began to write about politics. I began to write about things that I'd been concerned with as a kid. I grew up in a family of civil rights fighters. Right, my family started a civil rights org in Los Angeles called Concerned Citizens of South Central Los Angeles. So I
oh,
come from a tradition where literally as kids they took us out to protest when Latasha Harlins was shot
mm,
by Soon John Doe. I was literally at that store blocking people from coming in.
wow.
So I had a sort of feel, and I know this is a long answer, but I had a
Oh,
feel for politics at a very early age. I knew that the world was unjust at a very, very early age,
mhm.
right? Like a bottle of orange juice does not necessitate murder.
Right,
It,
right,
it just cannot,
right.
right? I got an orange tree in the backyard. You want to pull some, have some orange juice. It's
Right.
not a problem,
Problem. Exactly.
right? So all of that to say, I grew up in Los Angeles. I grew up in the Chief Gates era, the battering ram, where they violated Fourth and Fifth Amendments and was just coming into our homes. I saw this happen across the street from an apartment I lived in as a kid. Right. So all of that to say, I began to write about police brutality. I began to
Mhm.
write about poverty. I began to write about drugs. I began to write about gangs. I began to write about politics and how unfair things felt around me. So in many ways, poetry not only allowed me to become an author, but it allowed me to become somewhat authoritative over how I see the world, right?
Mhm.
And so I just kind of just kept writing.
Right.
Um, and because I started as a love poet, I always tell people I'm nothing more than a love poet. I only write about either people I love or things I love or the world that I wish to see,
Mm,
right? Because I would love that world to exist. Even when I don't mention the word I love you, I have a poem about my brother. It's really, and I don't even mention him. It's really a poem about the second Desert Storm because he was over there, right? And it was a love poem saying you have to come back home.
mm.
I can't hold us together without you,
Yeah. Oh,
right?
yeah.
All of that to say the last piece of it, which is I got to college, I began to still write. There was an event called the Interpretation of Poetry that I competed in. You were supposed to use other poets' work, but I didn't want to, so I began writing under pseudonyms and stuff
Right.
and writing my own work. It got discovered that I was writing my own work. Had a friend by the name of Armando Roman who was like, "Hey, you should come with me to the poetry lounge."
Mm,
And I was like, what? He was like, yeah, I know you're writing. You should go see these people.
right.
We go, first day, we get into a car accident, total his car. So we never go,
What?
never get to go. Months later, he gets a new car. We go to 33 and a third, which was Jerry Quigley's spot in Silver Lake.
Mhm.
Jerry Quigley comes, Best Kept is there, Sekou is there, some people.
Mhm.
And I'm reading, and they all kept going, you have to go to the lounge.
Mhm.
You have to go to the lounge.
Right,
Like you're ready,
right,
right?
right, right.
So Sekou was like, when you go tell poetry, I said put you up. I bet.
Mhm.
Poetry is the host. Poe, I go see Poe. Poe goes, oh, you're Javon. Sekou called me and told me about you.
Wow.
You gonna close on my show. Don't mess it up. And I was like, all right. And that's how I arrived at this location,
Right,
right? But yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
right. That is hilarious, man. I didn't know all of those pieces um, that got you there. I knew, like I said, I knew a bit about the debate,
Yeah.
but I didn't realize how that was so intricately involved in sort of to where you are now. Was there a moment like when you realized that a poem could do something different than a lecture or a paper or
Very early on.
yeah.
And I actually learned it in debate,
Mm,
not even in poetry. Right. So one of the things that I was really good at in debate in the year that I placed and ranked number one in the nation, right? Is it was there was one event, it's called parliamentary debate, right? And the design of it is you have a teammate, right? And you're given 15 minutes, you're given the topic, and you and your teammate are given 15 minutes to prepare.
right. Wow.
And it teaches you breadth versus depth. There's other debates that's more depth where y'all debate one topic over the course of the year, and you kind of got to know everything about that topic. Parliamentary debaters, party debaters are taught breadth. You just got to read a lot of random things in order
Right.
to be prepared, right? One of the things that I found out very early on, one, people were lying about the things that they were reading, but beyond that, I you stand behind a podium,
Right.
right? And again, I'm a very observant person, even when I don't often say. Sometimes, a lot of times I say things, but a lot of times I don't.
Mm,
And I was like, fascinating, right? And so I I did this at one tournament. I bought fake reading glasses because people with glasses are generally seen as smarter.
right. Right.
And so I bought fake reading glasses. I'm not about to be the only one out here without glasses. You
Of
crazy?
course not. Look, you got to play the
That's
role.
you know what I mean? Like, so bought, they had no, it was this
No
glass,
prescription.
no prescription lens or anything, but they were fire, right? Like, and so what I did one tournament, it's like the second tournament I had them, right? We're debating, and I'm like, we could talk about again, I'm gonna forget the topic. I just remember the moment.
Right.
It was San Diego at San Diego State, they were hosting the tournament. And I was like, we could talk about the fact that 75% of all young kids do this, or the fact that if you don't learn this by the time you hit third grade, it will result into this. Newsweek tells us just last week that blah, 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 blah. Or I could tell you, look, took the glasses off, set them aside, and I stepped outside of the podium. I could tell you more statistics. I could bore you to death with them, or I could tell you about Charlotte.
Mm.
And I just start making up a kid. I'm not even lying. I made
Right.
this.
Right.
I was like, of soccer. Says she wants to be the best player, not the best girl, but the best to ever do it.
Mm.
Says that dot dot dot, and I just start making this kid up, and
Yeah.
I just saw the judges go, and they fell in love with her,
Right.
and I'm like, a
God.
vote for my team is a vote for Charlotte
Right.
to live an abundant life, and I just started killing it. I was freestyling. I
Right.
was,
Right.
flew way off the rails. My partner was like, "What are you doing?"
We didn't
Like,
talk about this.
no, debate, please. And we end up winning unanimously, right? And I was
Yeah.
like, doing this every time. We
Yeah.
cooking with and I say all that. What I learned from that was that there was affect, that the affect sold the thing. And
Right.
it's the same affect that we often find in poetry that sells the thing, be it good writing or bad writing. A lot of times, what people are doing when they come to poetry is they're looking for an affect, they're looking for a feeling, right?
Right.
It's art that tries its best to display a feeling. There's something so phenomenally profound, and I'll wrap it up here about poetry, right? Like, I think artists are obsessed with things. I think different types of artists are differently obsessed, right? Like I feel like comedians are obsessed with testing boundaries. They
Right.
can't
You can't not,
be
right?
a
Like,
line and go, I
yeah,
know you said not there, but can I just can I, is
right. Yeah.
this a problem if I do this? And you're like,
Yes. Right.
I but I think that's the role of the comedian, right?
Mm,
Even when those boundaries are tough for us to deal with and problematic or whatever. Um, I think poets are obsessed with beauty.
mm.
I think we're obsessed with affect and we're obsessed with how else can you understand a poet at a funeral going, there's a poem here.
Right, right, right.
Not
What you morning? Like,
I mean
what you
more.
doing?
Like there's a poem here,
Yeah.
right? And we're obsessed with making even the horrific beautiful in words.
Right.
That I want to describe the horrific to you so beautifully that you feel it. You feel that affect. Not to take away its horrificness. In fact,
Right.
oftentimes amplify it. But what I'm saying is in that moment, I learned very early on that affect is everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I learned that poetry has the capacity to do that very early on. I needed to then learn to become a better writer to do that in poetry.
Gotcha.
And it
Gotcha.
took me a while to do that. But yeah.
That's incredible, and especially that latter piece about like it's finding the beauty in everything, right? It's finding that way to like you said, take that moment um and figure like and how do I turn that into a cherry blossom? You know,
Mhm,
uh
mhm.
it's so real.
Yeah, because I yeah, and it's as wild when my stepfather passed. I was sitting in the room where his clothes were, right?
Mm.
Because he let my mom have the closet in their room unto herself. They
Right.
had marriage where my mom was like, I need my own closet. I don't
Of
I have
course.
shoes, too many hats. They had that marriage, right?
Right.
And he put his clothes in a guest room closet, all jammed in. So I was in that room and the closet was open and he had a closet full of suits because he was a pastor. And my mom came and sat next to me on the bed and she was like, we hugged and she was like, we're gonna go through it someday, meaning the closet.
Yeah.
And I felt that moment. And I was
Mhm.
like, entendre, there's a poem here. Like it's
Yeah.
such a it's such a weird. My mama hit me with a double entendre. Like,
Yeah.
no, she really didn't. But you get the point. Go ahead.
Exactly. Look, I'm with you 100%. Like, I haven't even had the conversation about like when I go back to the house now. You know, my dad passed not too long ago, and when I go to the
My
house now,
condolences again.
thank you, man. I can't even like I don't even open up the closet.
Hmm.
You know, and my mom said, um, she said something like it's a tunnel in there, and I was like, oh. But it really is a tunnel, right? Because it's a long closet. And I was like, oh.
That means something,
Yeah,
right?
let me put that down for later, which is hard. I feel horrible about it, but I'm like,
No,
but
but
you know,
right? Right. I remember listening to Paul Mooney. Paul Mooney said something about comedians can be taught, but comedians are born.
right,
And the way he explained it is that they see the world in a certain way. And I think poets see the world in a certain way. And I don't think we can unsee it.
no, no,
And it's so for me, it feels a little like, oh, but it also is like I can't not do,
yeah, yeah, a
and I don't know
small
how to let
amount,
that go. So when my mother said we're gonna go through it someday, I'm like, sure, she means the closet, but she also means at some point we're gonna have to deal with his death.
yeah, yeah,
Today ain't the day for either of those.
right, right,
We don't
right,
pretend like because we can't, we're barely holding it together
right,
today.
right,
And I'm
right.
thinking, and it did find its way in the poem.
Oh, yeah, 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 absolutely. But it has to. Like that's you know, in its slightest form, like that's what we do. It's you know, call it stealing, call it borrowing, but it's about life, right? We're
Mhm.
taking life and curating it into this thing that we then gift.
Yeah.
Sometimes gift to the world. Sometimes it's like, okay, this is gonna stay in the book, and none of y'all, none of y'all are gonna see that for now. But no,
And then when we gift it to the world, there is something that's so beautiful that happens. And I'm gonna borrow this, steal this, right? To cite your language from what Shihan taught me years ago, which is the greatest compliment, and I agree with them, that I've ever gotten is when someone comes up to me and go, you know, that's my poem, right?
Mm.
As if they wrote it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's something so profound in that possession, right? That
Yeah.
once you give it out to the world, it kind of isn't truly yours anymore. It
More.
is.
Yep. Yep.
And when they come to you and say, that's my poem, there is, there's just a kind of profoundness to that that's just like, it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I offer up something that I got out of pain,
Hmm.
hurt, so much so that someone else wants to own it. That is the connection, right? That's the piece that poetry, I think, is striving its best to do.
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
I think it's that connection.
Right. But then, because Jesus, I'm only in like the first third of what I wanted to talk to you about, and I knew this was gonna happen.
All
I
good.
knew this was gonna happen. But like, even with that said, with what's that saying? With much power comes
Much
responsibility,
responsibility.
right? And so even in that in itself, it's like there's that moment that you're like, okay, I'm giving this to you, and I like I have the ability to write this thing that's this other person's poem, and I always go back to sort of the purest moment. And I don't know if you feel this way too, but I've been trying to write this poem, but it hasn't come out yet. But the purest moment of a poem that I did was the first time I did a poem on the first time I did a poem to people and people responded. Because then after that, I'm now impacted by the fact that what I wrote impacted people. So
Mhm.
it finds its way then back into so I feel like the purest moment was like that first poem I ever did on stage, because then after that, whether it be the responsibility or if it's straight up just like, oh, I'm getting a lot of numbers from this from this poem, let me do this, you know what I mean, it finds its way back
Yeah,
in.
I think the artist audience relationship is a conversation.
Mm,
It's
mm,
even if you're the only artist on stage, it's not if it's a monologue, I think you might be doing it wrong. And I could be persuaded to feel other way. I might not understand that quite right, but I do think you're doing it. I think it isn't. It's a conversation.
yeah,
It's a conversation with so many people,
yeah,
right? The immediate audience. What my mama's gonna think about this when she
mhm,
hears it.
yeah,
What my baby's gonna think about it when they hear it.
right,
What
right,
my wife's gonna think about it when she hears it. What right? People, it's so interesting that you talk. So one of the poems that I struggle with is the poem that I'm most known for.
mhm,
Cause he's black, right? Which is about police brutality.
yeah, yeah,
And every time a murdered black child gets murdered, I mean a black child gets murdered, people want me to read the poem, they want to share that poem, they bring my name up, and I'm just like, oh my God.
yeah,
Right? It weighs,
yeah,
it angers the hell out of me. And I remember being interviewed about that poem, and I was like, I don't want it to be relevant.
yeah, yeah,
Best thing that y'all could do for me is make this a forgotten poem.
yeah,
Want it to be, I want it desperate. And so it's this conversation, and it's a different kind of conversation, but it points to the fact that we are constantly, and I wrote that poem in what, 2011?
yeah, 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 yeah,
And people still be like, yo, he wrote this, check it out. It's powerful. I'm like, I don't want it to be powerful.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
want it to be weak. I want it to make,
yeah.
I want a generation to wake up and go, this poem makes no sense in the here and the now.
Absolutely. Let's put this in the archive. That goes in it's in the what's that called, that satellite thing that then you bury into the ground to pull up
Yeah,
the
the time capsule.
time capsule. Yeah, it's like cool. That was then. And
But
that's
we're in conversation with audience in all kinds of ways.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You mentioned about being on stage with you on your stage by yourself. So still, right?
Mhm.
Like the one man show. How like that's a different like talk to me about like that space, right? Because I think you're writing a poem, that's one thing. You're in debate, that's another thing. You're now on stage, typically like in slam, right? You're up there for 3 minutes, and you're the center of attention for 3 minutes. Now, right, you have to hold this audience with this presentation for X amount of time. Like, how is that different? How did you prepare for that? Why did you do that?
So Pasadena Playhouse reached out during the pandemic. Like many people, we were trying to figure out what is this pandemic world
Right.
going to do for us, and they needed theater to continue on, but we couldn't convene. Um, so they had this idea of doing digital plays, right, with no audience. And I was the only person with a one person show on that digital stage,
Mm,
right? And we talked it through, we mapped it out. It made sense. I called the good brother, Donnie Jackson, to direct. Our friend, and he came through. And Donnie was a godsend in that moment for me because there were moments where there was no audience. It was lighting, it was camera, Donnie, me,
right. Right.
and a couple of staff members spread out,
Yeah.
and it was awkward. It was empty. Um, I and I brought in people with me, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
right? I desperately wanted to do a show in the LA area at a major theater, and here I
Right.
am.
Right.
And I desperately wanted to do that because I wanted my mama there, but she couldn't
Come.
be. I wanted my uncle who loves theater to be there, who couldn't be there. I wanted, my family to come who couldn't be there, right? I wanted the community of poets to show up and they could, right? Like I'm home on
Right.
stage.
Right.
This is Mello at the Garden.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This is D Rose in a Bulls uniform.
Get home. Yeah. Come back.
Hey, I'm an LA kid in a Lakers uniform,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
And I'm doing this thing. This.
And
Exactly.
they won't let anybody come to the arena.
Yeah.
Right? So that it was tough, right? That part was tough. So I brought in the spirit of people who I wanted to be there.
Right. Right. Okay.
PPL was in the house.
Right.
My family was in the house,
Mhm.
right? Some of my past teachers were in the house, right? But they weren't there. They were there in presence because I don't get to this place without all of those people.
Right. Right.
All of that to say, Donnie made up for the lack of physical people. There were
Mm.
moments where Donnie saw me like waning because you all know this was shot over the course of various takes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we take a lunch break because laws require it, right? And
Exactly.
it's like, all right, man, ready to get back into it? Like, not really, but right. And so Donnie stopped me multiple times, and there was this one time, like I could feel that I was lagging.
Yeah.
Donnie came, he was like, cut, hold on, come here, and we
Mm.
talked to the side, and he just told me some things.
He did what Donnie does.
Did what Donnie does, the director, producer, psychologist, writer that he is.
Yeah.
And I end up going in on the poem. And the few people that were in the theater literally were the cameraman was like, oh my God.
And yes.
I was like, that's all thanks to the good brother Donnie, right? And it speaks volumes to the importance of having the right team members around you, right? Um, but it was good. I was glad because it reached massive amounts of people. People from across the pond hit me up. There were European people like, yo, this was amazing. And I was like,
Yeah.
so it ended up reaching and it worked itself out. Was nominated for some theater awards. So that was cool, man.
That's so dope, man. And that's probably what I want. I mean, because there's like you've done books, but what I wanted to do is pull that out because, again, for the folks that are listening here, well, there's a couple of things. One is you've already heard Javon mention Donnie Jackson. You've heard him mention Shihan. Look these people up. They are pillars in not only the spoken word community, but just writers and folks that are doing things um, to expand and extend this craft that we love so much. So make sure you check them out.
Indeed.
Now, um, so God, there's so much. Every artist has a North Star. Like what's your North Star? Now, not career wise, but like what's your like I at when I walk past that, that writing on the wall and it says Javon Johnson was here. Like what do you want that to say?
What do I want that to say? Oh, because that I feel like
That's
that's
different than the North Star. Yeah, there are two questions there.
my
I'll give
North
it that first.
Star historically has been my mother,
Mm,
right? Real simple.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, my mom is everything, man. She's dope. I joke with her a lot. I mess with her a lot. Like last time I was over, she cooked something for me. I was like, "You falling off? I can't up here if you're gonna be doing this to me." She of course told me to shut up and get out of the
Of
kitchen.
course, of course.
Like, well, put it down there. And I was like, I'm not gonna do all that. Like, you're not gonna
Yeah,
put it
exactly.
down.
We ain't go that far. I'm just, observations is what I'm saying.
Yeah, assault, whatever. No, but she's amazing. My mother was for the bulk of my childhood a single mother, raising two black boys in South Central Los Angeles.
Mm,
Height of police brutality, the height of stripping welfare programs, the height of turning Los Angeles and other major cities from the industrial community economies into these technological economies while denying Black people access to education that would allow them to shift into technological jobs, right? Like these are all have material effects. And so the east side of South Central, where I grew up, was just ravaged by lack of unemployment, right? Which is, of course, what helped fuel the crack economy, right? And the crack cocaine epidemic. All of that to say, and yet she raised two black boys, one who got a PhD from Northwestern and another who got a master's in business, MBA from USC,
that's-
right? My mother did her thing,
yeah,
right? Amazing, right? A little tough at times, but I think she had no option but
necessary.
um, because both me and my brother could be knuckleheads at
Yeah,
times and
of
hard
course.
to deal with, right?
Mhm.
He was more of a knucklehead. I was just mean and talked back a lot as a kid. Um, as she just told my daughter this yesterday on the phone, but whatever, here we are.
Right.
So my mother, it still is my mother. I'm gonna cheat here and add it's my family now, right? Like so much of how I move, I look at them and I think, how will they think of me?
Mhm. Yeah.
How will they think to the point that I don't even write about anything except fatherhood right now? To speak, I mean, and you'll probably get
Yeah.
this. You've been there and are still there. But you arrived earlier than I did. But to the point is, and we'll probably get to this at some point, but the next thing that I'm working on is another one-man show, one-person show, but around Black fatherhood.
Right.
All dealing with that, right? I can't write about anything else right now. I'm trying. Gotta write
It
about
doesn't matter. It finds its way back to
I gotta,
what's
yeah,
the
be
matter.
writing about, hey, I can write about the bombs going off in here, and then my kids, they're the bomb. They're explosive. Uh,
Exactly.
just
Exactly.
gonna, they're my North Star, right? And I don't only mean my kids, but I do also mean my wife here. She is really profoundly amazing.
Mm.
She has taught me patience when no one else could. I
Mm.
mean, no one else could. I am by and large a very, very incredibly impatient man. And
Mm.
she was the
Yeah, kind of no. But go ahead. Sorry.
she's the first person in my life that was able to slow me down.
Yeah.
And I literally told her last week, I was like, you saved me in a
Mm.
lot of ways.
Mm.
You saved me.
Yeah.
And is that not worth a lifetime of devotion? Right.
Absolutely.
And so that's my North Star.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say about me, I don't know. I really don't. I
Mm.
don't know if it's my place to say what I wanted to say about.
Mm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I just don't know.
No, that is absolutely there's so much. There's so much more to come, right? So it's absolutely fine to be like to not like you asked me today at 10 and asked me at 10:05, I'm probably gonna say something different, right? So
Yeah, I mean the thing that when people do ask me this, the one that I kind of return to, but I don't even know if I want to settle here is he fought hard, but he loved harder. I have a very, very tough exterior. I
yeah.
know that about me.
Hmm.
I know that if I don't know you very well, I probably won't talk much to you, and if I do, it's gonna be something mean.
Right.
I push people away. I don't like a lot of people in my inner circle, but once you're in,
Yeah.
I'm a softie.
Yeah. Look.
I had a friend, a mutual friend of ours, say this to me. She was like, "I think everybody gets you wrong."
Yeah.
everybody think you're mean, you're an a-hole, and you're tough. And she goes, you are that, but you really just a pushover. And I think you put that up because you don't want people to push you over. And I was like, yes.
Kind of, yeah, yeah. Look,
My
look.
daughter will tell you how much of a pushover I could be. I,
Tell
I
me about it. I
be
mean,
having
they
a
don't gotta
hard
say nothing. They don't gotta say anything.
daddy. All right,
Yeah,
here's
yeah,
everything.
exactly, exactly.
I have.
There you go. What you want? Here's the wallet. What you want? No, and I can so relate to that because when I did meet you, when we did start hanging, it was in I think it was in Denny's once, and I'm coming and trying to find my way into the DPL mix, and I said something, and you were over here somewhere, and it was like, what you da 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 da, and I was like, oh, the dude just coming at me like that. I felt a certain way. I felt a way. So of course, I'm coming back. But I remember the person I was with when we left. I was like, why he come at me like this? Is the first time I met Dwight, and she was like, oh, cause he's cool with you, cause he likes you. I was like, oh,
No, in fact, some of what it often is I want to see if you got some fight in
right,
you.
right, right,
I
right,
want to see, like, it's a weird way to test character, but
right.
I find out who you are.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, I don't trust people very easy. So
yeah,
I need to know who you are and the height of it all.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
okay, good. Now I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. But and at like, where do you go to when you're surprised? Because when you did it, I was like, I'm from Brooklyn. So, what? So immediately I came back here and I was like, okay, I get it. I get it was almost like this stuff slots. And I was like, that's he gonna be my dude. like,
And I don't really like to beat around the bush very long
not
about it.
at all. You know what I mean? It
Have
was
this
like,
fight out. Let's see where we at, and then
yeah,
let's move
yeah,
forward.
yeah. So now I
Amicable.
can see where you at. Exactly. Let's see where you at. Where you gonna sit at the Denny's table? You gonna sit over this way, or you gonna sit over? That's a whole nother story that we'll get to
Yes, yes, yes.
in another conversation. What's your favorite word?
Favorite word?
Yeah.
Oof. Oof. uh, I I have so many.
Mm.
Hey,
It's hard, right?
driving is a curse word, probably. Uh,
It's all good. They asked me
uh,
mine, and they were like, "We don't have to edit this."
yeah. I don't know, man. It really depends on my context.
Mm-hmm.
Here, it's love.
Yeah.
I tell my kids, I tell my family probably 5, 6, 7 times a day how much I love them.
Gotcha.
Like it's a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's to the point where she'll be like, my daughter be like, I ain't know, Dad. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
I'll know again in 30 minutes. Just F.
Right. Just so you know, you in my house.
And look, part of that is I mean, I could always go on some sort of professor tirade, but look, studies tell us that black men are the least likeliest group in America to hear the words "I love you."
That's right.
It's no wonder that I feel, and that it causes a psychological trauma, right?
Mhm.
Or has an effect of some kind. And it's no wonder that I want my children to know and
Yes.
I want to feel it. And perhaps
Absolutely.
I didn't feel and know enough when I was younger. Um, um, uh, yeah, probably outside in the world is probably idiot. Like you idiot. Oh, I just be
Yeah.
so mad while driving. And I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
curse
But
anymore with the kids in the car.
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Exactly. But that's all right, too, because again, the favorite word can change. So I'm,
yeah.
I'm probably gonna have like two more quick questions, and then we're gonna get you into reading and get folks to hear the wonderful work that you do. Um, who if what do you do to unplug? Like, how does Javon disappear? Now, a while ago, I saw you like doing some like creating a table out of
Yeah,
some
I'm gonna
wood. I
sit.
was like, who is this? I was like, what?
The thing is, so I think there was twofold, right? I got into woodwork when I was having a baby, right? And so some level I feel like I was just nesting,
Right,
right?
right, right,
Right.
right.
Which and then I also started planting a garden. I was like, who am I? I have tools and a garden. And I was like, I built a nest for the children. Um, a city kid, by the way, right? From
Right,
Los Angeles,
right,
right?
right, exactly.
But the other part is I firmly believe that all artists should create in spaces that are radically different than what they are primarily doing or good at, right?
Right.
Woodworking taught me something about poetry.
Mm-hmm.
Planting a garden taught me something about poetry, right? Because these are creative endeavors, right? But to unwind, oh man, that's easy. Me and my wife watch some of the worst television. It's so good
Yeah.
though.
I'm
And like,
so bad and so good. No, I get it.
oh, we watch Love After Lockup, which is a show about people dating people
After,
in prison and then when they get out. And I'm like, the decisions these people make
yeah. Yeah.
are
Yeah.
nothing short of phenomenal.
It's like, what was your process?
And I know, like, I watch it and I just feel like, oh, this is so good to me. We watch 90 Day Fiance, and I'm in love with
Mm.
90 Day Fiance. I'm like, yeah. He'd be like, oh, we want to find out if he's marrying you for the right reasons. He's not, and it's okay. And that's and then, but he's
90 days. It's okay.
not marrying him for the right reasons either. Whatever the right reasons are, people marry for all kind of reasons, and
Right.
sometimes it's love. Sometimes it's you have medical insurance and I don't. And I think these are valid reasons. I just like to see it. I just want to
Yeah.
see what happens. And when folks are looking for love in all the strange places. So we watch it. And we be in the thick of it and having real life conversations about
Yeah. I
just
love
no brain work type television. And I could just watch it all weekend if it
it.
was enough of it.
Yeah. 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 See, nobody knows. I favorite it on my phone. They don't see me watch this. The only shows I watch on the phone when everybody's
Nah,
sleeping.
it's in my algorithm. They know who I am. Nah, I want the world to. I need time to just.
Exactly. You just veg out, man. No, I get it, especially the world we're living in now and like what you're tasked to do. I mean, we didn't even get into this because again, I want you to read, but what you're tasked to do with like the future of this world, like in educating our kids, like the weight of that um has got to be a massive thing to deal with. So just in terms of like coming home and first of all coming to a home and coming into love, after all of that. But God, there's so many questions I want to ask you about that too. But I want to get you to read, dude.
Yeah,
I want us to get, a good 15, 20 minutes of you getting in and letting the folks hear your incredible work. So I am going to pass the microphone over to you and for you to bless us, man.
yeah. So I'm gonna do a series of poems. My first. I have two children. And you may be hearing one scream in the background, the little one, and that's all good. As they said in the church growing up, let the babies cry. That lets us know the church is still alive, right? And so hopefully the spirit of a higher power is alive in the household. All of that to say, I'll start. My oldest child is a girl, and I kind of always knew that my first child would be a girl. I don't know why I felt that, but in my spirit, I have no profound reason for knowing this, but I did. And so 10 years before I had a daughter, I had a poem called A Letter to My Unborn Daughter. And what sparked that real quick was, my, I just saw a bunch of poets reading poems about their children. And I was like, "Nah, I don't have to have a child to write poems about my kid. I just, write a poem and then I'll just save the money on child fees that you all are spending. That's how I came to that. My daughter is super dope. When you were introducing me, I kept trying to mute off to talk to her because she kept coming down. But she's amazing. To put in perspective, she's the kind of kid we're driving, we're listening to NPR, and the host is talking about some story. I can't even remember. And they kept talking about the main character, and she goes, Daddy? I go, yes, baby. She goes, what's the main character? This is like when she was like 4, going on 5. 4 going on 25. She good daddy, what's the main character? I go, oh, a main character whose the story is about. Like when you watch, and I whatever cartoon she was watching at the time, I think she was watching Bluey. I was like, when you watch Bluey, it's Bluey. It's the story, it's the person we all follow, right? The character person we all follow. And everybody in the story is really there to kind of support and move along their journey. Um, and she goes, wow, okay. Hmm. Daddy? Yes, baby. I'm always the main character. Yeah, that scares me, and I also love it at the same time. But yes, baby, yes. And so a poem called A Letter to My Unborn Daughter. So a letter to the child that I knew I would have some 10, 15 years after I wrote it. Baby girl, you should know that your dad only knows two options. He knows go hard or go home. He knows nothing in between. Someday you'll come to understand that your dad also loves this way. He has a hard time you'll have a hard time understanding how anyone in this world would ever call me mean, not my dad, you'll say. He's the kindest man in the world. Someday you'll come to understand that I'm messing this poem up. So I was trying to find it because I rarely read this. So let me just find it real quick. Nope, that's not it. Sorry, sorry, sorry. It's not in this one? Okay, hold on. Let me find it on my computer. Give me 1 second.
All good, man. All good.
'Cause I was gonna keep repeating that part until I found it. And why do that when I could just find the poem real quick? Where does it go? Oh my goodness.
That's what happens when you got plethoras.
See, this is why I'm seeing so much come up that isn't what I'm trying to read right now. Let me do it this way. Where is it at? My apologies, because I want to start with that. I want to say it's in here.
It's all good.
Hold on, hold on. No, it's not. Give me one. I'm almost there. Hold on. I'll search by keyword. And still so much other stuff is coming up other than that. Let me see if I'll try to memorize it one more time. Oh, there it is. There it is. Boom, 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 boom. Baby girl, you should know that your dad only knows two options. He knows go hard or go home. He knows nothing in between. Someday you'll learn that your dad also loves this way. You'll have a hard time understanding how anyone could ever call me mean. Not my dad, you'll say. He's the kindest man in the world. Someday you'll come to learn that I've reserved the sweetest parts of myself just for you. Some days I will come home and we'll both dance until we tire out and fall asleep on random days. We'll dress in our finest clothes and go wherever you like. Some days we'll share jokes so big that you can imagine the forever on them. And every year on your birthday, I will wake up and I will sing a song that I wrote for you the day before. This will be really cute up until the time you turn 18 and you show up to college. And I show up to your freshman dorm singing, Look Who's 18. Daddy's baby's great teen, no longer breaking everything. Your friends will say, your dad's a bit psycho. And you'll say, yeah, he is. But it's the best way to be loved. Baby girl, you should know that there are drawbacks to this kind of love. When you go on your first date, I will be there. I will put my arm around this person, whisper softly in their ear, whatever you do to her, I'll gladly do to you. You both should know that your dad spent like 2.5 days in jail, so he's comfortable with all kinds of things. Listen, baby girl, If you want to wear those short shorts with your butt hanging out, guess what your dad's going to do? That's right. He's going to wear a pair of those short shorts himself, and our butts are going to hang out together the way God intended for family. We'll see how cute you think it is then. And if you want to go around sleeping with all the guys in the world, guess what your dad's going to do? He's going to go around and he's going to sleep with all the. Okay, listen, baby girl, a few things. First things first, dad got a little carried away and took this to a place that made everyone uncomfortable. And for that, I am incredibly sorry. Second, baby, daddy, there's no problem with sleeping with people. See, when two people love each other, baby girl, the way your mother and I'll be honest, sometimes it's not even about love. You know what? Go talk to your mother about this. I never wanted to have this conversation with you in the first place. Three, baby girl, daddy understands the problems with slut shaming. He knows too well the issues with men calling women out of their name is about their own insecurities. It's about patriarchy. It's about insecure men who are too afraid of women owning their own bodies. And your dad wants you to own your own body. I want you to be everything you need to be in this world. I want you to know what it's like to live life as if humans were made to jump out of parachutes. I want you to know what it's like to live life if humans were made to jump out of planes with parachutes. Baby girl, I want you to know what it's like to be a bowling ball of butcher knives, be a wild haired trigger pistol with no safety, be a bad mother, learn how to say no and mean it, learn how to say yes and mean it, be as loud as the day you were born and mean it. I cannot wait to sing the first song to you. Look who's just born, screaming like a crazy horn. And honestly, I don't even know what that means. Thank you, thank you. Um, Poem that I wrote for my daughter, literally a month after or a month before she was born, around the time she was born. When Glenn Rice grabbed the last rebound at the end of Game 6 of the 2000 NBA Finals to put away Reggie Miller's Pacers. A then full-haired 21-year-old Kobe Bean Bryant jumped in Shaquille O'Neal's arms. The Mamba went from hugging the big man around the neck like a clingy toddler, throwing both arms in the air. Kobe's legs wrapped around Shaq's waist. The giant, almost in tears, held him tightly with both arms in the air. And this is honestly just a story of two grown men holding one another the way I think all men really want to be held. And that was a good time for us LA boys. Master P on the airwaves. And what is a no limit record except for a soundtrack for the hood, for black children who dare to dream as if they're bigger than the actual sky. My uncle used to pile all the neighborhood boys into a brown 1988 Ford Fairline station wagon to turn us into a basketball team. All of us dreamed that we would make it to the NBA someday. None of us ever did, though he ran drills as if he was still in the military, which made sense back then because everyone called South Central a war zone. But when the Lakers won, battalions of purple and gold flooded the streets. A Celtics jersey was a landmine, and the way we laughed at the Clipper fans made it difficult to tell the heroes from terrorists. Some people went outside to shoot their guns into the night sky, and it reminded me that this country became this country by learning to shoot into the dark. But when the Lakers won, my uncle called me and saved my life. He said we did it, which sounded a lot like I love you. And I believed him, and I still do. Basketball is a black boy's love language. A Magic Johnson's fast break is still one of the sweetest things you could say to me. A Kareem skyhook is proof that God indeed answers prayers. And Nick Van Exel's dribbling is still the prettiest love song next to Whitney's I Will Always Love You. So when my Lakers won that title, I got down on bended knee and thanked the Lord back when folks still talked at the end of R&B songs, when Tony blatantly lied to us about the lack of rain in Southern California. Boys to men who preach slow sermon after slow sermon. And yes, the church stayed packed. Children, so many of us were conceived to that holy sacrilege of black sound. And now my wife and I just had our first child. And I am already so willing to live for her, for this tiny human that I have barely met. And that still does not make me a good father. It only means that I've barely established a baseline, a low bar indeed, but isn't that what did my father in? His drinking, how he searched for the gospel of Paul in nearly every well. And I wish I could tell you more, but I choose to make my memory of him a bit foggy. But isn't that what did Kobe in? The weather, the crash, and I think of his death. And I would allow so many of us to only remember the good of him. And I think and I wish that my father had died a long time ago, not because I wanted him dead, but because I only wanted to remember the good of him. And this is really just a story of two grown men who've never held each other, who can't remember ever sharing a love language. Towards the end of her life, my father's mother began to lose her memory. Her mind became a fault line. Her face would crumble whenever she could not remember my name. One time, instead of admitting memory loss, she made up a story about that time we had dinner to soothe my breaking heart, and we both knew the truth. We both played along anyway, and I'm still not sure who benefited more, but I think of family this way. I imagine our baby to be an earthquake of a child. Hopefully, she would know exactly how to erupt, how to rumble, how to crack foundation. Hopefully, she will have an attitude like her great grandmother's cooking, too much spice for most people to stomach, but we like it that way. And she'll tell you breaking ground is the only way to build mountains. I worry that I won't be a good enough father for her. Unworthy of this girl child born in a pandemic, and how that breaks me wide open, the rupture, the lack of control of it all. I worry that no matter how hard I try, someday there might be a mountain between her and I. The same one I refuse to remove from my own father. I worry that I might become him, that she'll run from home the same way I did. And I still miss my city. Maybe she'll love Los Angeles the way I do. And maybe we'll hold one another tightly, like memories, forever, until they are not. Thank you, thank you. I'll do this one too. This one is more recent, right? The first time, the first time I prepared food with my daughter, she grabbed everything in sight, yelled mine, and immediately burst into laughter. She is a curly-headed silly thing who enjoys handling the knife entirely too much for my comfort level. I am excited though, because one day I'll get to teach my baby how to make one of my favorite desserts. A traditional pound cake requires exactly 1 pound each of flour, sugar, butter, and eggs. Flour gives structure. When mixed with water, wheat flour's protein interact and form gluten. It is this elastic gluten that stretches during the cake's rising. Sugar, of course, sweetens. Butter is a fat. It provides flavor, but also moistens the cake, while eggs interacting with the flour provides height, structure, and texture. My mother taught me how to make a proper pound cake when I was less than 10 years old. Sometimes we had to beat it by hand, mixing all the ingredients to ensure it would raise right, but being careful to never overwhip. I want to pass this tradition down to my daughter. You know, show her the old ways, but I worry about what it means to teach her that we have to beat things to provide them structure. I was in middle school when I was whipped to the point that it left scars that I could see on my body to this day. My parents ensured me it had to be done, make certain that I would be a sweet child raised right, my family. When we talk of physical punishment, the generation before loves to tell us how they had it worse, how we have it so much better now. They treat their scars like heirlooms, point and tell stories like these are the only antiques we'll have left to pass down to our own children. When my homegirl tells me why she stayed in an abusive relationship too long, she said her ex sounded a lot like her father when he told her, I do this because I love you. I've seen multiple versions of the pound, the belt, the switch, the backhand. My mother had multiple versions. One with 7 Up, one with cream cheese, another with a hint of lemon. Purists say that these alternative ingredients make it something other than a pound cake. They say it's weird that we've become accustomed to calling two different things by the same name. When I tell people that I will not hit my child, they say spanking and beatings are not the same thing. I say it's weird that you're now willing to give the same thing two different names. When I tell people that I will not hit my child, they laugh as if the joke is somehow on us. When I tell people I will not hit my child, child. I mean, I want to be her safe space. I mean, I want to be her prayer. I mean, I want to be her life raft in the face of the iceberg, the warm blanket and the lighthouse that always guides her back to shore. I am saying I want to be her shore. I mean, sometimes my daughter places her head in the cave of my chest. And I mean, sometimes she falls asleep there. I mean, I want her to know that every last part of me will always be a home for her. I mean, I want her to be a sweet child, colorful and well raised, you know? I mean, well, I want to find a way of making the cake without beating it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, we got time for one more or yep. I'll do this new one. It's another newbie. But we'll make it work. Do, 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 do. So I am on the phone with my oh, nope, I'm sorry, I made edits to that. Let me take it back. After another lynching of a black man, my cousin, the gun nut, calls me and says, this nonviolent stuff will get you killed. I keep telling people they need to arm up. And I reply honestly, cuzzo, I do not like guns, but as long as my oppressors have them, so will I. I come from a family of beasts who know how to tear a thing from its limbs. Men who train pit bulls and Rottweilers, who grab mastiffs and German shepherds by the neck to prove once again who really got that dog in him. When my uncle's Great Dane bit my cousin, he simply said, bite the dog back, and he did. I was raised in a neighborhood of men who came home from war and found themselves in a different kind of dogfight. Men who looked at their fists as both the prayer and the answer. When the boys down the street tried to jump me, my uncle locked me outside, told me to go back down there, get your whooping, or knock their face loose. I am saying I have never been taught to run from anything except the police. The day a cop held me at gunpoint, it felt a lot like my baptism. My entire life was in the Lord's hands, but this cannot be what my mother meant when she asked, son, when do you truly plan on giving your life to God? I survived a choir of dead black boys, hallowed still be thy name. So I'd be damned if I let one of them think me to be an easy target, think me to be something sweet. White supremacy has left a trail of tears, painted entire summers red. I remember exactly how the West was won. America's first language is violence, so you can't get mad that I decided to become a little bilingual. The first time I held a gun, I did not know what I was doing. But I know that in America, raising a medal makes you a champion. When my daughter looks at me like the winner that I am, when she hides behind me after seeing someone she does not like, I know that I am her first and last line of the defense. I am the gate around the yard, the dog inside, the sign that reads, never mind the dog, beware of the owner. I am an owner. So this is not a poem about gun control so much as it is a poem about who gets to control the gun. I was raised to fight back, to hunt, to defend, to be every bit of the monster you think I am. But I pray for peace, but I do so over the same bed I hide the shotgun under. I am the shotgun, sawed off, hand on the pump. I'm a Desert Eagle in an open carry state, a snub nose tray aid. I'm an AK strapped to the back of a rebel, a guerrilla. I am a dirty prayer in a holy war, ready to deliver a room full of non-believers. I promise I never want to have to use my gun. But if you force me to, you should know two things. One, I will. Two, people say, you know exactly where you stand with me. They say, I'm so brutally honest. They say I've always been such a straight shooter. Thank you very much.
Come on, come on. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. There's so much, I mean, there's so much there. Uh, again, we could do four of these and not even scratch the surface. Um, and what I love is part, even in the way that this happened, you always say the universe works the way the universe is supposed to work. And the fact that you couldn't find the poem and then you said edits. And I'm like, I hear people talk all the time, and I'm like, you know how edits is important? You know how you need to look at your work and edit it? And the fact that you were like, oh no, I made edits to this poem, to me is just that, is that thread that just needs, it's that mist that needed to happen, that this will
Yeah.
float into the ether as it goes through,
And I'm one of those people that tell people editing is a part of the writing process.
Right, right,
Our
absolutely.
good brother Donnie has entered the room.
Sure. Yes, yes,
We were
indeed,
talking about you earlier, good doc.
indeed, indeed. So I try not to judge, I try not to judge poetry, right? But one of the things I always say, if whenever I hear someone, if when I'm finished, uh, like I got two poems to go
Mhm.
write, work has been done. And dude, every time I hear you read, I come out with at least two poems. I'm like, okay, I need to take that one back. I got to go into the basement at work there. So,
You know
so
mine. Mine is if you say something, I go, I'm so upset at you.
yeah,
And I go, why? Because I wanted to write that line and
right,
you
right.
do
Yeah,
it. How
yeah,
dare you?
yeah, exactly,
I'm angry.
exactly. There's a
I gotta figure out
couple.
what kind of writer I'm not.
Yeah,
Thank
there's a couple in there. I was just like, oh, okay. I got to rework this now. Glass half full. You know what I mean? So no,
But this is also too, if I could, this is what I tell the younger poets that I work with, because I work with younger poets in Vegas right now, as they're building up their community, their scene. And actually, as soon as we get off this, I'm actually gonna go run and workshop a bunch of them. Um, the teaching never stops, but one of the things I tell them, it's about being in community,
yeah,
right? It's iron sharpening iron, right?
absolutely.
No doubt I've heard you read before, and I was like, oh, I gotta get into the lab, man.
Yeah.
He stuff that like, because it's that thing where, right? Like, if we were to think about basketball, my game might not be jump shooting, but I should add that to the game.
Okay, but you a
Round
bad.
me out. And
Yeah.
so there's some stuff that you do that shock that I'm sitting there like, nah, I gotta figure out how to add that to the bag. It might not be my signature move. Like Dirk's kick foot is Dirk's kick foot, but I'm gonna add it.
No, I feel you, man.
I
Like I
need it.
feel,
I'm gonna
look,
need it. I'm gonna pull it out.
I feel the same, dude. I feel the same way. I mean, I look, and I'll say this, and then we can get on with it. But um, I never feel spoken to when I hear you read. I feel spoken with. You know what I mean? And that to me is a lot.
Thank
I'm
you.
like you, and you said it before when we were talking earlier, like being in conversation with, and that's what I feel like when I hear your work, is that like we're having a conversation about some shit, and like versus like being like shit just being poured on top of me. You know what I mean?
Right. No, and since we're here, and I'm gonna do it because I think you deserve your flowers too. When I hear you read, I just every time I'm like, this brother's bringing the ancestors here, man. Like there's a way in which you call, right? And it's important, right? There's a way in which you could feel the spirit of past enter the room when you read, and I have always marveled at that. Like I'm like, how does he do this? So like, how did
That's the smell of Bengay, and that's what that is. You know what I mean?
get high off the
Yeah,
big game? No. It's a testament to the talent, man, and I in the dedication to craft. I love it.
I appreciate you, man. So jumping real quick, Ain't Never Not Been Black.
Mm,
That book um was there a poem in this collection? I've been trying to figure out a way how to word this, but was there a poem in that collection that cost you the most to write? Like what poem was that? Does that
that
make sense?
did what the most? I'm sorry.
That you feels like it cost you the most to write.
Hmm. Yeah. No. That one is easy. I gotta figure out the title. It's either Black Boy's Cold
Hmm.
and What's the title of it? Is it um can't figure out the title to the other one, but it's the one in there where no, it is. It's Black Boys Code. It's
Okay.
that one.
And why? Like, what did you have to extract? What's what?
So there's a couple of things in there, right? I had dated this young woman. She was Filipina. Um, and we had some very frustrating conversations, right? And so the line at the end is or the lines at the end um because America's too because I don't play games anymore, because America's too cold, because I know what happens to weak boys and I'm a man now, and isn't that what it is to reduce you to. No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the beginning of it. It's yeah, that's what it is. It's how the world works to reduce you, basically, and how you want freedom, how they all want to know the night, but don't want to be in it. And essentially, the whole point of that was like this idea that sh- you want to know hip hop,
Mm,
you want to know the dark, but you don't really want to know black folk.
right, right.
And having to distinguish, right, from friends in my life who might they like to dance at the club,
Right.
but
Mm-hmm.
you understand that distance,
Yeah,
that frustrating thing. It was more than just her. It was like friends, it was colleagues, and some of that I already knew, but just confronting it was a whole different
yeah,
story.
yeah.
And the line where I say, because it's a true story, right? We were young. I mean, we were probably all of 12, 11, where it does say, we stripped our one friend naked just to laugh at the fact that he didn't have pubes yet. Right? And ain't that funny that he was not yet a man, that he was still growing, that he was too weak to stop all of us, that we were all predators, that we all knew how to do America's work,
Mm,
right?
mm.
That concept, having to reckon with that. Like we didn't do anything else after. It was more, I was like, ha ha, you're
Yeah,
not a
yeah.
man. But literally reckoning with that. Like, why?
Right, right.
Right?
What contract? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And not being happy about that at
Right.
all, right?
Yeah.
In retrospect, right? And what does that mean that we were so hell bent on doing such a thing, right? And I toyed with deleting that line a lot.
Mm,
Like it was a last minute decision to leave it in.
yeah, yeah. See what
Like,
happens.
and I mean, me and Sam of Button Poetry were going back and forth, and he was like, I kind of need an answer. And I was like,
Right. We got press run.
like he was like, we're gonna like I want to send the email like yesterday to
Yeah.
say print it.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. But I mean, look, I mean, again, it's testimony to who you are, I think, from a level of integrity and wanting, as you said, again, going back to what you talked about before and wanting to give of yourself, right? And like I think you hit the nail on the head with this the conversation around finding the beauty in like everything, right? Figuring out how to bring that out and place it in a put it in a place where folks can see it in sort of a different light or see it in a light that needs to be grappled with. So like kudos for that and for being able to grapple with that. Now that being said, is there one poem that you perform that still surprises you how an audience receives it?
Surprise is I don't know if surprise is the word. I'm fascinated by how audiences receive different things.
Mm.
The poem about not hitting my daughter receives very fascinating responses.
And is that in the Black community or like it does it?
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Generally speaking, I'll be honest. I look. I don't know if we know that white people also hit their children, that the Asian folks also hit their children. That it's not unique to Black folks is essentially
Right.
what I'm getting at. I think Black folk feel more open to telling me I'm wrong than other racial and ethnic groups. At least those who feel that I'm wrong, right? And it becomes this mixed, awkward bag. It's this thing in the room because I recognize that I'm saying I think it's a terrible practice and you're a fool for doing it. And
Right,
when I read it on stage, I make jokes about how stupid I think the practice is. And I know I'm belittling folks. I know that I am,
right,
right? Um, but it's also jokes in an attempt to cut the tension in the room. Um, yeah, then you have folks who are literally using physical punishment as a mode of discipline in the moment. And I'm telling you,
right, yeah, right, right, right. Don't do that.
mm-mm. Then you have folks who are like, well, I turned out all right. And I'm like, but
But
did
did you?
you? I'm looking at you, brothers. Can we
Right,
have a
right.
conversation first before we come to conclusions? Um, and yeah, it's interesting the responses that I've gotten to it.
Mhm.
And because of that, look, I've read tons of research. I can tell you what the research says on it. It doesn't work. It actually harms your child. There's no historical evidence of widespread physical punishment of children throughout Western Africa prior to colonial expansion. I mean, I could keep going on.
Right.
The idea of spare the rod, spoil the child is not in the Bible. It's a poem. But hey, whatever, right? Again, I could keep going on, and even if it was in the Bible, we could argue that the rod is a guiding staff because Jesus was a shepherd, and the
Right,
shepherd
right, yeah,
with the
right.
rod hit the sheep with the rod. Otherwise, you would likely not be a good shepherd. But here we are, right? All of that to say it gets mixed. I
Yeah.
get people that will come to me and cry and go, I hate it that my parents did this to me, and you've given me language. Um, a saint, a good friend of ours, told me that his cousin heard the poem and was like, "You're right. I should not hit my children ever again," and he
Mm,
did not to.
yeah,
So you get those moments,
yeah.
right, that are profound and moving, but then you get people who are like, "Nah, you don't know. Yours are too young to understand," and it's
Right,
like.
right. Different time. Yeah, sure.
Hopefully, I'll be a good enough parent to where,
Yeah,
hopefully,
yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's not a,
that
yeah,
a conversation will work, that other
right,
modes of discipline might work.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and the other thing, I'll say this in conversation when I talk to parents who have done it, it seems to me mostly they do it out of frustration.
Mhm.
It's like you need to find another way to go run a mile or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Yeah,
something.
we getting
Yeah,
frustrated too. Don't get me wrong, I'm
yeah.
gonna just hit like 15, 20 push-ups or something.
Look, when the day my dad said, "I'm not gonna beat you anymore. You too grown," and I was like, "Ah," and then he was like, I was
Oh,
like, L. That was the last letter I got home. So I get it. Like there's so much to unpack. There's so much to unpack there. But look, we are where we are, right?
yeah, I mean, and,
Um,
and there's so much more. Like, right, it increases your likelihood of becoming abusee or an abuser,
right,
right?
right,
Like, it just there's
yeah,
no redeemable benefit to it.
right,
It's like,
right.
and the last thing I'll say, and I look at my children,
How? Yeah,
how excited they get when they see me come into the room.
yeah,
I am literally me and their mother, obviously. We're their source of safety, we're their source of food, we're their source of water, we're their source of sleep, we're their source of housing.
right,
You're literally everything. As they grow, we become less and less of
right,
that.
right,
But right now, and she's 50 pounds and excited that she just broke 50 the other day.
right, right. How do you? Yeah,
Girl,
yeah,
let more than that.
right, right, right,
I hit 50 on a quick warm up.
right,
Like, all right, let's get it now. Let's
right,
go.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. No, I know. Look, again, this
like
all.
every time she cries, and I'm like,
Yeah, I know. You're broken. I know. I
no.
know. It's look. Like I said, this is that's a whole nother
Yeah.
BBB that we
Oh,
would invite Dr. Johnny
no,
Johnson. For.
absolutely right. Dr. Jackson got it. But the thing that I'll say to your point to just wrap it all up, that one is the one that gets the most interesting responses. And I get them across the board from I don't know what I'm talking about to thank you to
Yeah,
change my life to
yeah. Go rewrite your book.
whatever.
Right, right,
We'll
exactly.
find out later. I'm like,
All right.
I
Well, look, I
won't.
got two more sections that I want to go through real quick before we break. But there's I call it the Who Dat section.
Mhm.
And this is if you're in an elevator for 3 hours, right? And you can pick any three people, past, present, future. Who would be the three people you would pick to be in this elevator with for 3 hours?
What's the function? Just conversation, like we're gonna get out or we need to get out.
Whatever it is, like you're in that elevator and like, well, I mean, in this day and age, you know you're gonna get out at some point, but they're not gonna get to you for 3 hours.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna get out.
Yeah,
So okay.
you're gonna get out.
So the point of this then is conversation. Because if
Right.
it
Who you want to be with?
you're telling me we might not get out, I need MacGyver.
I knew you were gonna say, I knew
I
you were
need
gonna say that. That's right, of course.
I was get a bunch of people that was gonna get me out. We
Out the
can
place.
talk
Yeah,
later, man.
exactly.
Uh,
Who built this elevator? Can I have him?
yeah, I
Can
didn't.
I have
I don't like to be trapped in nothing. Like I'll say this real quick. Like I went to go do a thing in the county jail in Los Angeles years ago. Some workshops and stuff with some of the inmates there. And the guy at the gate was like, "Uh-oh, something's working." I was like, "Don't fucking play with me."
Right,
Like
right,
I got real serious. Real, don't.
right.
Oh,
Got
you don't take a joke well. Not that.
no, not here.
I don't. I start cursing. I will fuck you up. Let me out right now. I don't let me out. I start breathing heavy. Like let me out. Like I gotta go.
Right, exactly. I'll send you the poem.
All that to say, ooh, that's tough. That's because there's so many.
Mhm.
There's just so many. Ooh. Good brother James Baldwin.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Whew. Probably the good brother Malcolm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, I so many names, man. I'm trying to dwindling it down to three is
Yeah.
wild.
Well, today, if you were stuck today, who would it be? Does that change it?
In today's time,
Well, no, just like today.
oh, and they got to be alive.
No, they can be past or present.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. The good brother James Baldwin, the good brother Malcolm X. Mm-hmm. Part of me is thinking, mm, I'm torn.
I hear you. I hear you.
I don't want to make the I don't want to make the last the maybe Toni Morrison, but I feel like she gonna go off on me. I'm low key scared of her. She brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant, but I'm a little scared. Like if I say something wrong, the way she be killing people, I'm like, oh,
I know. Can you talk to Malcolm though? Like
yeah,
talk to
yeah.
him.
But I would love to be in conversation with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zora Neale Hurston comes to mind.
Okay.
But yeah.
I
I'm gonna
love
leave.
that. I love that. I love that. I love the question because it's
It's
interesting.
tough because there's so many more people.
Right, right. And I've got like 3 hours. So like sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to talk to a Paul Mooney, but then I'm like, but then like you just gonna spend 3 hours making me laugh. Like I'm not gonna be able to tell, so
You
it's
know, Paul Mooney used to be around the lounge.
no, I did not know
His
that.
sons used to dabble in poetry.
Really?
Yeah.
Look, y'all got to check out again. There's so much history behind the poetry lounge, and like find your way there. It's such a beautiful thing, and I feel the same way about you. But it's such a beautiful thing to be able to see how it's developed and grown and expanded into what it is now, what it was when I was there. But the point that I'm saying there is that folks look into it if you're in the LA area. If you're not, still look into it and figure out how to get to the LA area to check it out. There's so much goodness in that space. That was like one of the homes for me for poetry.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's that. So there's a quick that who that section, and my last section I call it the quick fire. And basically, I'm gonna say a word, and then what's the first word or phrase that comes
Okay.
to after that? All right, here we go. First one, blackness.
Everything.
Slam.
Good place to exercise.
Mm.
Great place to exercise.
Academia.
Um,
About to get you in trouble.
a job,
There you go. Los Angeles.
home,
Phibology.
my brothers, even though they
Father.
pissing me off sometimes, but go ahead. But that's what brothers do. Go ahead.
That's what they do. That's what they do. Fathers.
Learning,
Black fathers.
necessary,
Community.
complex,
Mm. Kendrick.
you know. Compton kid, they not like us, man.
I love
I
it.
got so many for Doc, but go
I'm
ahead.
sure. I'm sure. Uh, love.
Family,
Body.
mm, mine,
Mm. Mm. Language.
tools,
God.
unsure,
Mm. War.
this morning actually, but can't stand it. Oh, I hate it here. It's, yeah,
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you. Students,
healing, challenging,
books,
portals to other worlds,
mm, poetry,
religion.
mother,
Mm. The only God I really know worth praying to.
mm, black woman,
Similar answer.
still,
Still,
mm, and the last one is freedom.
a journey,
Mm,
not a
mm,
destination.
mm, a journey. I love it. I love it. My brother, look, like I said, this we could have 13, 14 of these shows and scratch the surface.
Indeed,
I
indeed.
I am so honored. I was so honored for you to be here, but I'm even more honored to know you as an individual. I am uh, I'm blessed that you have come into my life, and again, we don't catch up enough. Uh, but just know that you are always in my thoughts. I am always low key, like I said, stalking you, and to see you um, grow into the person that you are, and to see you as a father, and to see like it's just it's an amazing journey to witness, and I'm so excited about what's next for you as bring like. So before I give you your flowers, I do have a question I didn't mean to ask you. Did you
Mhm.
always know you wanted to be a father?
You said what?
Did you always know you wanted to be a father?
Yes. I knew I wanted to be an older father too. I never wanted to be a young father.
Mm, mm.
But purposely was like, I'm not even thinking about family until at least mid 30s.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Mainly
I meant
because in
that.
my 20s, I knew I wanted to be in the world.
Yeah,
Want
yeah,
to sit anywhere. Like you remember how that time was. I was,
yeah,
it was kind of
yeah,
flying everywhere.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
But good everywhere. You know what I mean? I was like,
No,
you were, yeah, and you were like a sponge. You were pick. Oh, look, like I said, all this to say, I'm super um, proud and excited, dude, of what you've accomplished, what you continue to accomplish, and what you show like other folks of what is um, how to make opportunity, what's capable, um, and and I hate bringing this into it, but I think it's important to know is like um, beyond the stereotypical view of like where I come, like what my foundation
Mm.
has been. Um, and I don't want to say past it because that's part of what, it's the brick in the foundation. Uh,
Yeah,
but to see all of that, dude, I'm excited. I'm flabbergasted. I love it.
thank you.
And thank you for being here. And like I said, we got to book more of these. So
Indeed. And
the
real quick to the because I agree with you on the not past it but of it, right? Like I'm of South Central, right? And I tell people the same thing that went into making me this is the same thing that went into making my cousin one of the most feared gangsters in Los Angeles. We shifted our energies in different places. And one of the reasons I was able to shift my energy into this and not in gangbanging is because my cousin did it.
yeah,
He was able to protect me.
right,
He ensured that nobody would bother me,
right, right.
right? Which gave me a freedom that he didn't have for himself.
Mm,
And so, I'm not better than South Central. I'm not bigger than it. I'm not past it. I am of it. And in fact, when I'm back in LA, most of my time, I'm literally sitting somewhere in the hood. I'm just like,
yeah, I'm here. Yeah, yeah. I love it. I
yeah.
love it.
But no,
Well,
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think certainly, I've told this to Shion, I've told this to Rudy, I've told this to many people that you all don't know, that friends and family. I steal bits of fatherhood from all of you.
mhm,
My practice is a community practice. If you do something that I think is cool, trust you, my daughter think I made it up.
Circle C.
Yeah, circle, yeah, uncircle. See, it's mine too now. This is shared property. Literally, like I'll give you a perfect example that comes to mind right now. Um, Rudy had said something in an interview one time. We were all talking about being a father. He was like, "Yeah, I not only tell my daughter I love her, but I tell her I enjoy being your father." Oh,
Mm,
okay, cool, bet.
wow.
Layla Bayla, my daughter's name Layla. I call her Layla Bayla. Layla Bayla, I enjoy being your father. I
Well,
tell her that all the time.
well,
Like, that came from me, baby.
yeah,
That's
yeah. Well, it came from me now. It is mine
yeah.
at this point
It
forward.
just even small stuff like that. I'm stealing everything.
Yeah, I
If
love
it looks like it works, I'm putting it to practice.
that's what's up. That's how it
Well,
should.
thank you for setting an example. Even from afar, when we don't check in every day, I'm watching. I see how it works. I mean, I could like again, we could because I believe in giving flowers back, right? It's not lost on me that you and your wife, there's a there's a beautiful protection that I see and
Mm,
how y'all post about the child,
mhm,
right? I'm
right,
like, I get it.
yeah, right.
Feeling some of that.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, man. Thank
Absolutely, absolutely. And y'all, so for you guys on the phone, I'm sorry, on the call now, and again, uh, the folks that are looking at this later on, Dr. Javon Johnson, look him up. Ain't Never Not Been Black, most recent Killing Poetry and the academic work around that. Um, is also the piece you did in Slam, right? Just this, the one man show. Please look at that still. You said there's other things coming. You working on something. That's in
I'm
the
working on I'm writing another one man show. Literally the story that I told you all earlier. It's called Always the Main Character.
yeah. So please, I like I said, I bring folks on this show that I love, that I want to bring to the community. I want the community to bring um, to these folks. So like look them up. I got dope friends.